What's going on, Principles of Management? This is Mr. Argueta coming to you week number 3. So welcome to week number 3, guys. I appreciate everybody doing their work and getting everything done on time. Thank you for that. So let me give you an update in regards to what we're doing and what we're working on. So in regards to week number 3, here's what we got going on. So we are working on, as always, 2 chapters, as you know. This week we're going to be focusing on what would be the planning stages and process in regards to a manager or a person in business or a person managing a business. There is a tool, a utility, a tool that we use called a SWOT analysis. A SWOT analysis is used strategically to understand your position in an environment. So, as you know, business cannot exist in a what we call a closed environment. By closed environment, I mean that there's no outside influences. It's all self-contained. A business depends on external situations, external environments to be successful or to be productive. So let me give you an example of how to utilize a SWOT analysis. I also left a video in your discussion that kind of describes it in a different form, but it's the same concept. A SWOT analysis is a strengths, weakness, opportunity, and threats. But the strengths and weaknesses, the first part, are internal to your company, are what's happening inside of your company. So, for example, one of the things that I tell my students to do, of course, in this analysis is pick a company they're aware of, they know, and a company that they're familiar with. Please don't just Google something because you're going to be flagged as plagiarism, and then we're going to have to give you an F, report you to the dean, all that stuff. We don't want to go through that. So please do your own work, do your own flash research. I'm not asking you to go and deep diving into analysis of a company. This should be fairly simple to do. So the strengths of a company, I'll give you an example. Let's grab GNTC, this school. I'm going to do a SWOT analysis very briefly on GNTC. So our strengths is that, one, we are in 5 different campuses in the Northwest Georgia area. Another strength is that we offer several modalities of education. For example, you can go online like many of you are. You can do classes hybridly, which means that it's a combination of online and coming to class. So you come to class one day and then you do the rest of a week online. There's also something that's called asynchronous or synchronous online. Synchronous online is when you still do it from home or wherever you're at work, but you have to log in on a certain time on a certain day, and everyone joins at the same time. That's called an synchronous online classroom. The class that we have is called asynchronous, which means that you have 1 week to do your work. You can do it whenever you want, at whatever time you want. That's an asynchronous online classroom. So GNTC has different ways that you can educate yourself, and this is one of them. That's a strength that we have. Another strength that we have is that we are fairly reasonably priced in comparison to other universities and colleges, other private colleges. So it is a very a good option for any student that wants to get a degree, a good option to get started, a good option to move into a bachelor's degree, a good option to get into a job. We prepare people for the workforce. So it's a great opportunity for us. It's for you. So it's a great strength for our company, for our school. What's a weakness though? Weakness is that in high school, we have made a mistake through our high school systems to push 4-year degrees and universities and college and go to UGA and go to Kennesaw, and we've pushed that on people so much that the technical system gets sort of viewed as a second option. So that's a weakness we have to overcome. The stigma of coming to technical college. Those are issues that we have to overcome. What's opportunities? Opportunities is that we also have things like economic development, and opportunities and threats are external. They're an external environment, not internal. Strengths and weaknesses are internal, what we offer or have, and the weaknesses we have internally. And opportunities and threats are from the outside of us, what's going on in our environment. So, opportunity. We can offer more programs through economic development. We can help someone get their GED. We can help someone get certified in different areas of industry that are not part of the college, that are through economic development. We can also begin to offer language classes or certain things in language environments. What are some of our threats? The private sector is not, or let's say the private sector like banks, they don't really need a degree. They don't care for people to have a degree. So the support from our industry partners. So that's an external environment threat. And of course, like a couple years ago, one of our threats was COVID hit, so nobody can go to school. So school became a second thought. When the economy is really good, people don't go to school. When there's tons of jobs available, people don't come back to get educated. When the economy is bad, people return to school and they get better and they get certifications and degrees. So the economy really impacts us. That's a external threat to our business, to our school. So that's how you use a SWOT analysis. You then analyze that information to see where you position yourself in, excuse me, in the industry. I always tell some of my students, a great resource that you have in your opportunity is to do a SWOT analysis on yourself. What are your strengths? What do you have to offer that no one else does? I give examples of what I would do when I would go out and sort of promote who I am and what I have to offer. What are some of my strengths? One, I am not only bilingual, but I'm also bicultural. So I understand the language, but I also understand the culture. I also have over 25 years of business experience. I have managed and ran companies. I'm an entrepreneur. I have a MBA. I have a training experience. I have a corporate training experience. I have done corporate trainings. Excuse me. I've done consulting work for companies. I've helped people develop their businesses. I've also helped young entrepreneurs get started with their businesses with business planning and succession planning and all that good stuff. So those are my strengths. I bring that with me. I know how to penetrate a Latino market for a business, and that's what I would do in the past. And what are some of my weaknesses? Some of my weaknesses internally could be that I am a notorious detail-oriented person that can get caught up in the details. Now, here's something that I want to advise you on, especially when you start going for job interviews. Most companies in management and management positions would ask you what are some of your strengths and what's your greatest weakness. Don't ever leave the weakness by itself. Don't ever be like, I'll give you an example. I'm not referring to myself, but just an example. If someone were to say, I'm a procrastinator, that's my greatest weakness. Don't leave it there. That leaves a bad taste in people's mouths, especially as an interviewer, right? If someone told me I'm a procrastinator, that makes me worry. Like, is this person going to finish deadlines when I need them to? But instead of just leaving it there, tell me how you solved it. So if someone says, what's your greatest weakness? And your greatest weakness is procrastination, you can say, I'm a procrastinator, but how I've learned to overcome that is by setting alarms on my phone to force me to do things when I'm supposed to or get them done. So I want to know how you resolved that. Don't just tell me the weakness. Tell me how you resolved it. This SWOT analysis helps you do that not only as an individual, but as a company. Okay, these are our weaknesses. How do we work to solve that problem? And then these are our opportunities. Say, for example, and I give this example a lot, let's say I one day say, you know what, I love pizza. And I usually use different scenarios. I use like taco trucks and different things. But let's say this time around, I want to start a pizza business. I think that the pizza in Northwest Georgia is horrible. Guys, I mean it. It's horrible. This pizza is disgusting. It's nasty, right? And I'm going to start my own pizza little pizza shop here in Dalton or Northwest Georgia, and I'm gonna make the best pizza you've ever had. It's Chicago style pizza, and I'm not talking about the deep dish pizza. We can talk about that later. But most people who live in Chicago do not eat deep dish. That's for tourists. The tourists like coming to eat that. We eat regular thin crust pizza. And I'm going to use what's called a mixture of cheeses, fresh mozzarella, maybe some regano, a few of the cheeses that are out there to make my cheese mix. And then I'm going to use Roma tomatoes. I'm going to use good sauce, quality cheese. But I'm going to use what's called fennel sausage, fennel Italian sausage, not just the regular Italian sausage you pick up at the store. That doesn't have any flavor, doesn't have Italian flavor. I'm going to use good quality homemade fennel Italian sausage with homemade good pepperoni, some mushrooms in my pizza. I'm going to make the best pizza you've ever had, right? And I'm going to cook it with a little thin crust, nice and crispy. The thin crust is great. And I'm not going to cut it in triangles. I'm going to cut it in squares because that's how you eat real pizza. You cut it in squares. So I'm going to make this pizza. I'm going to open up a shop. I'm going to look at where my opportunities are in Dalton. Tons of opportunities because the only okay pizza around here is Cherokee Brewing Company. I haven't tasted any pizza that's great. There's a place out of Chattanooga called Pizza Bros. Pretty good pizza. Also does good. At the end, after I'm done cooking that pizza, what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab a little bit of Italian seasoning, sprinkle the Italian seasoning on top of the pizza. Not a lot, just a little. Give it a little extra flavor. And that is good quality pizza. And my opportunity is I can go to businesses, I can cater, I can deliver, I can have pickup. I'm going to create this system with the opportunities that exist, right? I'm going to contact the schools. I'm going to have the schools try to order for me. Those are the opportunities in this area. What are some of the threats? Some of the threats are that there are pizzas in this area that people eat that's disgusting, like Little Caesars. That's $5 pizza. Like a $5 people think about it for a second. What do you think are the ingredients that go into a $5 pizza? That's disgusting. It's probably not real cheese. It's probably fake stuff, artificial. It's not good quality meats, and the pizza tastes that way. You can tell. So those are my threats. There's hundreds, if not thousands, of pizza places around here that will sell you a pizza for $5. I am not going to sell you a $5 pizza. I'm going to sell you a $20 pizza, a $15 pizza, somewhere in that price range, because I believe in the quality that I put into the pizza. So, that being said, everyone wants a slice of pizza now, I could tell. Savoring that pizza. So, those are the threats in the environment that I'm in. All right. So, guys, I am expecting some good SWOT analysis. And now, just to close out what we talked about last week and then give you a highlight of next week. Last week, we talked about the train scenario and about lying, about Christmas, all that good stuff. So here is my final thoughts. And I appreciate it. Everybody gave their thoughts, gave your opinion. I appreciate that. Thank you for replying. It was a good discussion. I love it. I'm reading through all of them. I will be grading all of that and getting it to you as soon as possible. So hang in there. So here's my final thoughts. What would I do? And this is not a right or wrong answer. This is just my answer, right? I would probably save the 10 adults because I do make a lot of decisions on a utilitarian basis, but I also have certain scenarios and conditions in which I would use a deontological perspective. I do believe in a higher power. As I mentioned, I pastored for several years and ministry for many, so I do use that as a